Let's start it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 4. Can't believe we're on episode 4 already of the Forsaken Council Live. Tonight we've got a big update to talk about. It's not as big as the whip, but there is a lot to go over. We're going to try and squeeze it into an hour if we can. Not to mention Ren's base clinic segment. We are short of David tonight. Sadly, he's got some stuff going on in life and couldn't make it tonight. So, life comes first as always. Hopefully, he'll be back with us next week. But yeah. So Ren, we got a lot to talk about this week. Do you wanna?
Yeah, buddy. Big update. I mean, we were expecting Outpost 8 to come at the end of the month, and I guess Kickside decided to release a week early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess they were confident on the quality of the update this time.
I think maybe they said the end of the month to give themselves more time to prepare, but it looks like they were ready to go, and I was quite surprised to see it came today. I didn't expect it at all.
Me neither. I thought it was going to be a slow week.
Question is, have you started it yet?
Me? No. I had something else building, like a turret upgrade, so I'm going to have to wait 8 days until I can start it.
See, I did have like a day left on a turret, and I may have sped it up a little.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Okay,
I spend money on ships, I don't spend money on buildings. That's usually been my guideline.
Mm. Hats off to, and guys, tonight Ren made these fabulous slides with a new backdrop and everything. They look great, so well done on the slides, Ren.
Okay, so let's get started talking about Outpost 8.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I've seen you put the points there. I mean, that's great. The health increased from 64,000 to 750,000. That's incredible.
Great. Yeah.
I mean, even a fully armored outpost as it stands is quite difficult to kill.
Yeah. So I think people making it through and just having like one ship left are screwed. They're gonna time out before they can kill an outpost.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of puts I don't know. It would probably take you a minute to kill an outpost, especially if it gets the because it gets armor buffs and stuff, doesn't it, as well? So.
Well, I mean, somebody could put some permacrits in there, and then it would take like a whole bunch of firepower to kill an outpost. But that may be part, or maybe that came out of a conversation that the town hall players had with Kickside, like. One of the first ones we had, the same one where we talked about the dock repairing, where we said, base hitting 3 years ago used to be a very tight effort. I mean, how many people 3 years ago could hit a base and get it done in under 2 minutes like we see a lot of people doing today?
Yeah.
That 5-minute timer was a struggle. I mean, I remember a lot of people trying to blitz a base, hit a base, and timing out. Especially creepers, right? And I think these new health statistics here are somewhat related to that, to try and drive the base hits towards the 5-minute limit, so people don't have time to go in, come out, kill the oil rig out there and everything else, and still like with time to spare.
That encourages like more prepping, doesn't it? Taking time to hit bases, so it might bring back the fact you need 2 fleets to hit a base now. You might want to prep stuff out, then come in and do your main hit, and use the 5 minutes more. What's the right word?
More wisely. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that might bring that back.
Yeah, bringing strategy back. You've got to think. You've got to prep, and we're going to talk more about that in a few minutes. But I think without that increase in power, not only in the outpost, but we'll see the warehouses and everything else with a lot more health. I think people are going to be able to go inside a base like with assault mortars or something like the new UAV that don't really damage buildings, and prep guards without bubbling a base.
Yeah, maybe assault citadels might make a play there, but another thing as well, with the 15% resistance, you just as well add on another 100k straight away to the armor there. Because 15% of 750k, 10% is 75k. Adding another 37 and a half. You're taking it up to sort of 860,000. So it's incredible, and that's before you even put armor on.
Yep. And I think they're staying true to not adding corrosive resistance to anything, and I really like that. That they're not starting to creep corrosive defenses on things.
Well, the power capacity is increased. That's gone up, but not a great deal. It's a little less than 800 there. It looks is that 760? It's not masses.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it's less than that. But still, it's not really. I don't know if power was ever really an issue on an outpost. It's never been an issue for me.
I never armored my outpost. I mean, so not really. I mean, people who I know, some guys in my alliance have a lot of armor in the outpost, and then for them it may be good.
Now the maximum base power increase, I think that was definitely needed. I know that I'm rich on the limit almost. I'm over 80,000 at the moment, and I've only got 2 level 6 platforms, so I definitely feel that was needed.
I think all the players at the high end were having to make compromises already to their turrets, because you just could not use all the specials and all the armor and all the best weapons. The power cap was really hitting a lot of the high-end players. I mean, probably not a problem for the mid-levels with older turrets, but that's another problem, that they don't have access to the newer turrets, right?
Well, especially with certain specials out now, like Zynthian shells and stuff. I mean, it's really easy to hit that max power at level 7 outputs. So I'm glad they did that, because I wasn't sure if they were going to do that or not. Defense platform cap has increased from 18 to 20.
Yep, 2 more turrets.
2 more turrets, and that's going to affect your percentage of base as well, isn't it? Your bubble pad.
Yep, definitely. I mean, if you put both turrets in the island at the center, probably you won't be able to make a decent bubble pad anymore. Probably going to have to put some of them as frontline. That's my guess. And by the way, I was reading the discussion after the update. A couple players are having issues. So for everyone who's not building them yet, that's not a problem. But the guys who coined Outpost or had the tokens, the 5-day tokens, 7-day tokens from the other campaign, some guys built them, and then when they reloaded game, all they could see was a shadow of the turret on the base. They couldn't select, they couldn't click. They went into the base planner. The turrets were not showing up in the base planner, and so they could do nothing. They had to open a ticket, and now probably just waiting. But just a word of caution to anybody coining these turrets. Apparently they're glitching.
Okay. Well, I mean, I started mine, but I certainly won't be coining it. So that's not a problem I'm going to have to deal with just yet. But it's a good bit of advice there. And the outpost resource cap has increased. Is that increased by 10 million or increased to 10 million?
To 10 million.
So, and what was it at 7?
I don't remember. I couldn't find the current Outpost 7 max. I don't know.
Uranium cap 18,000, and base parts has gone up to 350,000. So, general. I mean, I'm not fully 100% sure myself of what they all were at 7, but you know, anything better is a boost, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, I think between Outpost increase and warehouse increase for base parts, the max go from 600 and something thousand, like we showed last week, to 913,000. So that actually you can store enough for a few more days of speed ups.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it? Can you not get up to? Didn't they list it in? I think it was last week or the week before. I think if you get all your warehouses upgraded and an OP8, you can hold up to 10 days worth.
Yes, that was close to 11 days, and that's the 913,000 that I mentioned. When you get everything upgraded.
Okay, I mean, so what's your feeling about OP8? I mean, we knew it was coming, and we have discussed it before, but what's your general feeling about it?
Personally, too soon. I mean, how many people are even halfway through upgrading their turrets to level 6? I personally feel it's way too soon. I mean, I've only got 2 turrets to level 6, and you know, I've not even. I've done everything else in OP7, but I haven't done my warehouses to their next level, and I haven't done my turrets, and I wasn't expecting to see this for at least another 6 months, so it was a big surprise.
it's come out at a time when most people are nowhere near even close to ready for it, which was a bit of a shock.
But I think it's producing the desired effect. Like, I mean, Kickstarter released that now, certainly believing that a percentage of the players were going to speed up and get it done as soon as possible, right? And based on the discussions I've seen on forum and comments on our Forsaken Council page, a lot of people actually already have OP8 done and are building turrets and upgrading walls and cursing because they can get enough Zintheon and whatnot. So I think it's working for Kickstarter.
Yeah, I bet everyone's really enjoying those Zintheon mines. Did you finish your walls, Lucy, in the end?
No.
Have you not? I'm sure. Did you not do them all to 7?
Walls are literally my worst thing. The time it takes to... And you know, the thing that really bugged me with the last walls is when you clicked to upgrade, it kept freezing. So every time I done it, I had to refresh and start again. It was a total nightmare. So no, I haven't finished. Do you know what? I've still got level 4 turrets. How bad is that?
Not all of them.
I have a level 3 turret.
Not all of them. I have like a couple of level 4s, and then all the rest are level 5s, and then maybe one. Actually, none are level 6. So I'm seriously gonna have to
up your game.
Yeah.
But by the way, actually that can be used as a strategy, Lucy. I mean, think hard before you upgrade them all, because I still have one level 4 and one level 3 turret, and it's on purpose because they are just like countermeasures.
Right.
And I don't really care. They're back there, and they help me have a bubble earlier when people kill my bubble pad, right?
Yeah.
So if I upgrade them to level 5 or 6, then I shift the balance of health back to the center of the base where I don't want it to be, and then I'm forced to move more turrets to the front line just to be killed, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'll work on them. I need to get the res first of all. I need to even upgrade my option first, and then there's just so many things.
Yeah.
So many things.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, more walls.
Warehouse walls. Lucy, you were just talking about how much you love walls. So.
Yeah, I mean the warehouse. I'm really glad they've. Well, obviously I knew they were going to go up with the OP upgrade, but the resource cap. That's something good because you have to upgrade lots of things, so more res means you can do it quicker. Does that make sense? No? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's one of my favorite things. How sad is that? The fact that I can store more res.
No, I think that'll be a lot of people's favorite thing.
That's like my favorite thing. So I think it's good. The walls.
Yeah. And I just put a little bullet there. It's almost 300,000 now, the maximum uranium you can keep in base, which is another bonus, right?
Yay.
But with the health, the health increase in there, the first bulletin point you put there, Ren, health increased from 17,280 to 415,000.
Yeah.
That's
massive.
Yeah, that's like a lot of people use warehouse because for me this update, one of the biggest effects on the game that this is going to have is for people's bubble pad, people's 25%. And with the health going up so much on these warehouses, like they're no longer going to be that effective as your bubble pad.
Yeah, because people can actually drive by without killing them.
Yeah, people can lay off a few shots and they'll still live. So for your bubble pad, you may want to say, for example, let's just say you have 2 warehouses in the middle and 3 warehouses up front as your bubble pad. You're probably not going to want to upgrade those warehouses. You're going to want to.
Or maybe you do because, it's a good question, and I'm not sure what's the right answer yet. But I mean, if you upgrade your outpost, all of a sudden now you have like 700,000 extra power at your central island. How do you offset that? Well, the way you offset that, you've got to upgrade at least 2 warehouses, right? Because then you get like 400,000 each. So now you kind of rebalance, and your 25% point should be the same bubble pad you have today, just considering 2 warehouses versus outposts, right? Then of course there's going to be turrets and everything else. I'm just saying, somehow you got to rebalance how many buildings you leave up front, so when they get killed, you get to 25%. And but they, like you said, you're right. They're going to be much harder to kill. I mean, people coming in with heavy cannons or blade missiles, that like all these weapons that have a lot more building damage, they'll certainly still kill the warehouse and whatnot. But again, it opens up, like Lucy said, opens up a gate now for people to come in with assault weapons and prep the base.
Yeah.
Prep the guard, right?
And base prepping has kind of been a thing of the past for a long time, unless it's subs. So and I feel that this is really going to bring that back. It's really going to make bubble pads an issue. I'm still a little bit curious as to how I'm still going to pull it off when I start upgrading. I almost don't even want to upgrade just for that reason, you know.
Do you think they might change the percentage that we bubble at?
I don't think so. That's anyone's guess.
That's going to be the biggest problem, I think, with this. This is it's the only negative I see in the whole thing. But anyway, let's keep going with it. So So the health increase.
Everyone's nightmare.
Yeah, that's my favorite bullet point there. Welcome to Zynthium Nightmare.
Oh yeah. And you can even say you're going to hit a base to recover, because you hit a base and let's say you get 30 million, 20 million Zynthium from that base. That's also going to be empty of Z because they're also upgrading walls. And then your fleet costs 15 million Z to repair, so you're going to end up negative. Right? If you try to steal from other players. I mean, I think the best source are going to be the mining bases, because I think they pay twice as much Z as they pay everyone else, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I've never really found, I find that I'm always stacked, so I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the cost yet. Do you know the cost of one level wall square?
8 million Z, if I'm mistaken.
And what was level 7? Is it 6?
It was like
6 million.
6?
I still remember the pain.
Well, that's I mean, how
and
many wall squares do we have?
They still have that annoying 100 uranium there that makes the whole thing lock your game, right? Every 2-3 you do, you get locked because of the uranium thing.
That's what I was saying. That glitch where you click it and then it freezes. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Oh, that's so annoying.
There is a little trick to that, though. There is a little trick to that, and I know that White Star did a video to that, and I think it's pinned in the forums at the moment. But basically, when you click it, you know the coin now, the bar that says coin now, the yellow bar. That when you first click it, that will be shaded, like you can't click it, and if you wait a few seconds, that will light up, like you can coin now. And if you wait until that lights up and then click on the standard upgrade button, it should work and not stall your game. So that's kind of a good little trick to do that. I think White Star.
No, that's good to know.
Yeah, he was the first person to point it out to me, so props for that. But yeah, so there is a little knack to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Zynthium is a pain. It is a pain. Yeah. Dragon Slayer crew is your friend. Brilliant little tip there, Ren, as well. I mean, is Res really hard to come by in the game still? I don't know. I don't think it is.
No, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just I'm just saying that because of the walls, people will be short on Z for maybe a few weeks, a couple months. I don't know how fast people are going to do that. Maybe it's just a few days. But I can see people killing strongholds even after they're done Forsaken mission just for the sake of getting extra Z.
Yeah, and let's not forget campaigns as well. I know Laredo in the YouTube chat here mentioned prior to the show airing about the Snowfall campaign. You can go in and do the first target of the Snowfall campaign and get 25 million Zimp from it.
Good point.
And then
that's
just
awesome.
End it and start again. So that's a very, very easy way to get res as well.
For people who have it done, right?
Yeah, for people that I actually do have it done, but still.
Yeah, I have them all done, so not an option.
But still, I mean, there's stuff there. What other kind of targets are there? The mines, U-base. If you're prepared, I mean, if you've got Centurions, obviously, you're going to be collecting res when you're out farming the U-bases anyway. So, I guess, but only if you're.
You can always go and hit bases. I'm just saying, hitting player bases is going to be hit and miss because menu will be empty of Z as well.
Next one. Now this is one of the more significant ones I think as well. Is the turrets to level 7. The health increase is just quite crazy, isn't it, Ren?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5 times more armor, and that's before you put a permacrit or anything on it, right? I mean, I think with a permacrit and an M or X panel, now you get like 125. So now the base turret's going to be 280,000. It's going to take a while. I mean, people won't be able to just drive by turrets. unless they can stand taking fire from all of them. People have to stop and hit. The creeping style will come back, right? You kill the turret, then you move a little bit, kill another one. So, you know, I think I would think now mortar turrets and mortar guards would come back in fashion big time.
Well, as soon as me and Liam seen the kind of stat on the health increase, we kind of thought there must be kind of something coming that's making the turret health kind of.
Yeah, I'm scared. I mean, maybe
yeah,
you're right. Maybe they're bringing some super.
Yeah,
maybe they're gonna bring some massive OP ship. I don't know.
That'd be insane.
Maybe we can all win draconian mega holes and just, you know, party. But no, I mean the issue for me on this is your bubble pad.
Yeah.
You know, seeing some turrets up front with these kind of armor stats. I mean, you know, even a Punisher fleet with assault mortars, you know, built right, could just drive into your base and just, you know, take out all your ships. They wouldn't even need to sub you anymore. A tank built right could just come in and prep out your guard.
Yeah.
You know, and then they can come in with anything they want. You know,
or even like you could send one single ship in if the ship can survive long enough and to trigger citadels to kill guard ships, right? And that ship going through is not going to kill the turrets.
This is what I was saying before with prepping as well. Like, as you said, you can't just like drive. You're gonna have to sit and take time to kill turrets with the current fleets. So prepping as well, or health stuff.
Yeah, and by the way, we say it's 280,000, but again, they're gonna come in with 30% built-in resistance to most weapons. So you add another 60,000 armor, give or take, in there, 55.
And free armor slots, so you can also build those resistances up. You can even put a special to build them up further, and you could shove a block of permacrete on there. You know, you could take this thing through the roof. It could really become quite ridiculous if you wanted to.
Of course, you're still going to be limited by the total power base limit, right? But you certainly can have strategically 2 or 3 turrets like armor to their teeth, and it's going to take a while to kill them with anything we have available today. At least they're not going to melt. Right? Because today, pretty much, everyone builds their frontline turrets knowing that at most they're going to get one shot and be dead.
It's a scary time in BPA when you look at these kind of figures. I found that when I looked at all of this stuff today, when I read it in the forums and I kind of sat back and I tried to absorb it in, it's a lot of information to absorb, but I looked at it and I was a bit scared, because not scared, but I thought to myself, you know, things are really stepping up. Like, bases are really stepping up. Like, your armor on your buildings, your turrets, like, things are really going up a gear. So, you know, and I can only think that Kixeye they're laying the foundation here for something that's coming ahead. Big changes in perhaps the way we hit bases, perhaps the way we design fleets. Perhaps, you know, the whole way we think about the game currently is going to change. Because I don't see really where we are in terms of how we build our fleets right now. Having, you know, if someone upgrades their base right now with OP8, maximum level turrets, all the specials through the roof, everything R15, there's no way on God's green earth you're touching that base, in my opinion.
Not for now, I agree. But I mean, you know, people who coin it are going to have an advantage for a few months. But again, I think there's going to be some sort of power creep on the fleet side. There has to be, right? And again, I think they have to narrow the gap between the folks who are right now coining OP8 and the latest and greatest turrets and whatnot, versus the guys who were just catching up on FM and don't have all the limited turrets that are the fallback prizes in FM. I mean, we discussed that on Saturday. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again, but we need some sort of raid where the mid-levels and the known whale coiners can catch up on turrets.
Yeah, the free players like myself that, you know, are just in it for the fun. So you mean, Red? the non-coiners like me.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I agree, and I kind of hope that the whole store next month is going to be there's going to be an easier way for mid-levels to grind, because if it stays in the same format, then it's going to be an issue for people to get the holes they need there, I think. Okay, Ren, should we jump into the next slide, or is there still more stuff to cover in level 7? Have we skipped anything, or no?
New turret.
New turret.
New turret.
The anti-launch pad turret. 50% accuracy at level 3. Level 3 will require a level 7 turret due to the power consumption of 7,000. It's pretty high. I haven't noticed that. I didn't notice that stat until just then. Level 1 fits on a level 5 turret. Level 2 fits on a level 6 turret. Short range of 40. Researchable in a level 11 weapons lab. Addresses problems of multiple daisy cutters against strategic ships in guard fleet.
Can I just add, like, it does say on there, like, it doesn't increase the chance of destroying an incoming launchpad rocket. Remember how we were saying about that earlier?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Like, it's not guaranteed. Like, I read that as if it's not guaranteed to shoot down a rocket.
A Forsaken anti-launchpad turret that has the ability to destroy incoming launchpad rockets. Overlapping the coverage of these turrets does not increase the chance of destroying an incoming launchpad rocket. Yeah, it's not going to destroy. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it has 40% accuracy. Sorry, 50 accuracy, which means that it has a 50-50 chance of shooting that rocket down.
Yeah.
What they're saying there is if you overlap coverage. So if you build 2 of them, right, and say you build one there and one on the left and one on the right, and put your glacial turret in the middle, overlapping the fields is not going to give you a better chance of shooting that rocket down. You're still going to have a 50-50 chance. That's all they mean by that.
That's why I was highlighting it, though, because a lot of people might build it and think, oh great, this is going to shoot down a rocket, but it's not. But I mean, honestly, not a lot of people. Well, in my opinion, when my base gets hit, no one uses rockets. Maybe that's them just a farm and they just drive.
What? Because they don't need rockets in your base, is that?
But I see all. I was just going to say, I see all the high-end players. It's common that some guys come in and drop 6-7 daisy cutters on your sub spotter. Then they can walk in with their subs or ghost crawlers. Or if they see you have some rhinos at the back, they're going to try to kill those rhinos so they don't get hit by the missiles, right? So that's very common. People drop 6 rockets and then come in for a hit before you get the 1-hour bubble. What that means now is, if they try to drop 6 rockets on you, on average, only 3 are going to hit. So when you build your base guard ships, you got to make sure they can withstand about 3 rockets and not die, right? On average.
I mean, for me, it's not something that I'll obviously research it, but I'm not gonna. There's no point in me building it just now. I'm not at a stage where anyone uses rockets in my base, so that's kind of a waste for me just now. But for you and Liam, maybe it's something that for high-end players, it's probably something beneficial.
Good point. You're right, Lucy. I don't think. I mean, I would say to any player, if right now you don't have people who need to rocket your base with 5-6 daisy cutters before they go in, if that doesn't happen to you on a regular basis, don't worry about the turret right now. Just research and unlock it, so whenever you need it, it's going to be there, but it's not a priority.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of an endgame thing. Not an endgame thing, but if you're an active base hitter and you're always involved in a lot of conflicts and alliance wars and stuff, then you are gonna need it. But if you're a kind of player that is a mid-level, that isn't that active of a base hitter, that doesn't get hit a great deal, and I mean, unless you have a seriously strong base, no one's going to waste the time coming in and dropping 6 rockets because they're not going to need to. So unless you're running a really good base where players feel the need to do that, then But for me, I'd like to build it.
And I was going to say, I mean, sometimes people just for revenge, they go into bases and they drop a rocket on your dock, right?
We've seen that earlier. That's funny.
So maybe you want to have one of those protecting your dock, and it's a 50-50 chance if you get the level 3 turret. Now, level 1 and 2, I didn't put their pictures here in stats. I just thought it was going to be too much. But level 1 and 2, they have very low accuracy, right? Level 3 has 50, but I think level 2 is 25, and level 1 is 10%. It's really low accuracy. So that's why I didn't even bother putting them here, because I don't think they're worth it.
No, as it's... Sorry, go on, Lucy. Go on.
I just want to make a point about what Ren just said about people dropping rockets on your dock. Wouldn't the new auto repair dock kind of scrap doing that? If that makes sense.
Yeah, yes and no. Only if the bunker buster kills your dock completely, and I don't remember whether it does or not. But
It
the
does
dock,
actually.
according to what KickSci released today, they said only when your dock is fully destroyed, it's going to start auto-repairing.
Right, okay. Okay.
Okay, let's
Okay.
let's jump.
Yeah.
Can I just say as well, though, while we're on that, though, that this is a new type of weapon. It doesn't classify as a countermeasure, does it? So we cannot boost this by using a countermeasure special. Just for the
Good
record.
question. No idea. It's damage type is
Anti-multipack.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe CMs can help extend its range and whatnot. That's a very good question. We should ask that around at KickSci.
Well, I wasn't sure if it, because I imagine that question will probably pop up. So I wasn't sure if we could clarify that or not yet.
Yeah. So if anybody on our page has already or whenever someone coins and builds this turret, I mean, if they want to try the countermeasure specials and share. But in the meantime, I'm going to ask KickSci about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then we'll see.
Okay. Transformer slots and modules. They changed the visual of the turret, which I think we've seen the pics already, haven't we, on the previous slide? And they're researchable in Level 11 Advanced Lab. What's your take on these?
Going back two slides, you can see down there the visual of the turret. So the one on the left is the regular turret. Mm-hmm. The one at the center is if you add the offensive transformer. Mm-hmm. So you're taking away health from the turret, right? And the one on the right is when you add the defensive transformer.
The one in the middle looks like old age.
A little bit, yeah.
It almost looks like when they changed remember the graphics update?
The awesome graphics update.
The awesome graphics update.
I didn't play then, so I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's ancient history.
I was slim and had no grey hair when that graphics update came. That's how long ago it was.
So before you met me.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks awesome. It's good to see something different. You know, everyone, it'll be different turrets because they've kind of kept the same kind of format over the same basic shape and stuff. These two kind of have different vintage looks.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it adds another layer of strategy to the game, where now not only you have 20 turrets that are all the same, but you can customize them, right? And make some of them stronger, so you force your attacker to stop for a bit longer, and make some of them in your central island have a damage buff. On top of the damage buff you already get from that special you can put on the outposts and warehouses, so it's very interesting. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's very interesting. I mean, it's just so much information to take in this week with the changes, and it's a lot to get your head around.
Yeah, but I could hear the rust on my labs when I started research on them after so long. I mean, when was the last time you started any research on your weapon lab or advanced lab?
I know.
Well, CERB 5. Yeah, advanced lab's been. The last thing I got in Advanced Lab was base turret specials, I think, and that was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, right. So they were all rusty, but it's cool because it's not stuff people need to grind or do chores to get. They're right there. You research, you unlock, you can use it. So I like that they are releasing some researchable tech right now.
Do you know what? I still have stuff in my Advanced Lab to research. I just
The question is it useful?
I don't know. Like Liam keeps saying to me, keep stuff researching, keep going, and he's researching. Well, we're researching explosive system. I hadn't even researched that.
Well, I think I have OCD, and I believe that everything should be done. Okay, it would drive me insane as well to go from instead of researching, you have to research in order, 1, 2, 3. You can't go 3. Do you know what I mean? That would drive me insane.
So you're gonna go nuts because on my base I never unlocked the Hellstorm 3 or whatever. I never done that one. It was useless.
Mm.
The thing I'd say about this kind of the Transformers is that they're quite a long research time. But that's just me being moany.
They are a long research time.
How long is that gonna?
But the thing is, that if you research one, right, it's going to be done before your OP8's done anyway. If you start them both at the same time, and then if you research the second one, you're probably only going to get one level 7 turret in the time that you're going to get these.
It's cheap on res though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good. It's just the time of it.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I mean, unless people are coining like crazy, and I'm going to assume that's not the majority of the player base.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. The timing of upgrading the outpost and then a turret, so you finally can use one of those. It's about the time you're going to need to unlock them both.
And you can kind of guess how these are going to be set up. You know, most players are going to put the attacking modules on their center island turrets, like their APOCs, etc., and the defensive ones maybe on some of their frontline stuff to prevent players being able to just drive past, like a stopping turret, you know, like a Gargoyle 2 or something, something that forces you to stop. So yeah, it's definitely going to add in a new element and a lot of versatility in bases as well. I mean, you're not going to see this kind of every guy runs the same design kind of game right now.
The choices are endless.
This is really, really going to open up the game in terms of versatility, and every player is going to have a unique setup, which is that's one thing that I find really exciting and really cool.
And it's a lot about style too. I mean, I know some guys in the game who are all about attack, and I'm pretty sure those guys are going to use the attack transformer on all of their turrets or close to that. And some guys are all about, no, I'm going to buff them all in defense, and I'm going to wear the attacker down or make them timeout or whatever.
It's going to make people think about how they build their base, because usually you build your base around your guard really, but it kind of brings more focus to turrets. Like what we're going to have to start doing with our turrets now, and yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good wee addition.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm almost sure that we're going to see more of these, probably in the form of blueprints. You know, maybe winning them. You know, we might see some new additions coming. So I'm sure it's the first step in the future plan with this. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement. It's a great addition to the game.
Yeah. Want to move on to the next one?
Okay, here's the most exciting one.
Most exciting. What's going on with that little guy there?
I was just going to say.
That's a Facebook status button. A guy from my alliance put it together, and they said, you got to use that on the show. I'm like, okay, we'll put that on the show.
Do you know why they've suggested that, or?
Yeah, I think he's got a ruler in his pocket there.
Yeah. It's a little hammer. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a spanner. It's a spanner. He's fixing things.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that was by far the most favorite feature that came out today, isn't it?
It was, but you know what, Ren? Right? This is something that me and Lucy tested out before the show. Now we were hoping, right, that all the band players in the game that seem to have ridiculous amounts of medals. Now we were hoping that their docks would start repairing, and we could go and farm medals from them.
So guess who went round to all the band bases? Me. And it doesn't work. I had this hope. I seen this guy. It was banned, and he had like 40 medals. And I was like, right, I'm gonna go and try this. And his whole base was dead. The dock was still dead. So I don't know if maybe it has to be within a certain time
or
period.
maybe it's going to start working now, right? Whoever had a healthy dock now and gets banned, and we hit that person, maybe now it's going to start auto repairing.
That's what I said. I thought that maybe it wouldn't work on bases that have been destroyed before the update, because it wasn't working. So we couldn't farm medals out of the banned players, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, the other good news. I mean, not only the dock now starts repairing on its own when it's completely destroyed. That was the one word that caught my attention in the briefing, right? But it also now repairs faster. So instead of 3 hours, now a Dock 12 repairs in 2 hours and 13 minutes. So that's good news.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's a great addition to the game. It's something that people, I think, have been asking for a long time, and there's nothing worse when you come home from work, you're ready to jump on BP and have a little session, and your base has been hit and your dock's down. There's nothing worse. Now your dock's going to repair while you're at work. You're going to come home and be able to play, which is great.
Or sleeping, even better. You wake up in the morning, want to repair something, dock's going to hopefully be there or almost repair from an attack overnight. Okay, let's move on. But I think that's the best feature this week.
Definitely.
And that's one. I mean, that is one that came out of that meeting between players and KixEye. We asked for that, and they delivered. So I'm really happy about it. I don't think we need to read that one, but it's just there. A lot of buildings have had their build times and repair times reduced. I just put it there, but I don't think we need to go one by one. Anything here?
Can I just say, like, the turrets, I still think are ridiculous.
I personally, I feel that everything's still too high. I feel it should have got. I feel that they should have reduced things a lot more.
No, it's just I think just the turrets is the main issue because everything else you can just kind of leave ticking over. It's not really that big an issue.
Have you listed the refineries on there? Because the refineries are still
I
absolutely...
just ignored them. I mean, who cares about refineries?
They're so ridiculous.
Liam had like a wee rant earlier about them. Liam just sat and ranted about them.
Why would anyone just waste that time on a refinery?
Hey, there's a lot of people that like them.
To me, the only building here that matters, and that's too stupidly high, is the shipyard. Because when people are upgrading their shipyards, they cannot build ships. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's still 6 days, so that means still it's a week. And you cannot use the base parts for that because it's an upgrade, right? Still a week where you cannot build a ship. Mm-hmm. So even if you get the 2 build tokens from FM, still 4 days and a half.
Yeah, I for me the biggest hang-up is still the turrets. I think the fact that they landed OP8 on us a lot quicker than most of the game expected it. They should have backtracked and made OP7 and level 6 turrets a lot faster. I feel.
Yeah, at least turret level 5, I think, should be way faster than 8 days, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to leave the latest one at, I don't know, 12 days or whatever, fine. Because then people make progress a bit slower, and ship build, turret build about the same time kind of makes sense, to me, at least. But the turret level 5 now should be much faster, so people can catch up, right?
Definitely, definitely.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Bug fixes.
Bug fixes. Okay, I'll roll them off. There's only a few. The intelligence report pop-up will no longer show incorrect rank information for your fleet. Ranks are no longer shown in this pop-up. Is that something anyone ever noticed?
Nope.
I don't even know what that means.
I never noticed. Address an error that could occur with the new campaign unlocked. A pop-up that appears for players upon reaching certain level thresholds. I never noticed that one either.
No.
Ren? No?
No.
Here is a popular one, which I know most of the community was very, very excited about. Fixed a bug where an expired Grease Monkey crew would continue to give a repair cost reduction on the world map. So,
I'm so pissed about that. Well, and you know why? Because I never heard of it until now.
Wait, so if you run Grease Monkeys and kept it on, you'd get reduced...
Basically...
That's amazing.
If the crew expired and you left your fleet on the world map,
yeah.
Even after the crew had expired, you could continue to get repairs at half the price.
Why did they fix that?
Well, they want your money.
On this scenario, I can assure you, I do not think it was working as intended. So
yeah, because if you docked your fleet, then your half repair time was gone, but on the map it wasn't. So the only reason I'm pissed off is because I didn't know about it before when it was working.
I'm upset too. I didn't know about this. Did you know about this, Liam?
I didn't know about this. Well,
you did know, and you didn't tell me.
I think he's lying.
He's lying. Look,
listen, I know about it. But the last time I had a Grease Monkey crew was, a year ago. I don't seem to be able to roll Grease Monkey crews.
I still have one on my Great Hall.
What's very, very odd...
a month ago, and I wish I knew that, because then I would have repaired on map.
Well, what's very strange is I did roll 2 over the weekend, but I am now that I'm doing the U bases with Centurions, I'm getting in a lot more uranium than I used to. So I find myself just sitting down and spinning 200k for nothing every now and again, which I never did that before. So maybe that's the reason.
Hey,
but no, it's not something that I ever took advantage of. So.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Lucy. I mean, do you have a chance to check the chat on YouTube?
Yeah, I made a blooper earlier. We were talking about medals, and someone was like, "Oh, I'll give you my medals," and I was like, "Yeah, come dump on me." I mean, dump me.
Lucy.
So chat's good. Chat's fun. Everyone's just gonna agree with what we're saying. No one's really.
Is everyone happy about the Grease Monkey fix?
Hold on, let me scroll up. They're talking about you lying about the Grease Monkey crew.
Me lie? I would never do that.
Yeah, no one's really happy about that.
Yeah, you're flushed, man. You were lying.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just an honest guy.
You're red.
Totally red.
Yeah, no one's happy. Everyone's saying no.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, any questions about all the upgrades, anything we didn't cover, just before we move on?
Let me scroll up. There's quite a lot of comments now. No, there's nothing recent. No questions, kind of recently. Did anyone get any questions? We
are going to jump into your base clinic now, Ren. But what I will say to the page and the YouTube is, there's a big update this week, and there's a lot of information to take in, which is going to really change the game moving forward. And I think even us, we've had a chance to sit down and read it for a couple of hours, and I still haven't fully grasped the changes that this is going to bring into the game. So it's a bit of a worry time, I think, for a lot of players. But I would just say, let's just see how the next few weeks go and see how some of these changes develop and change the game. Don't get too panicked too quick,
But I'll say one thing, right? The reason I got hooked up to Battle Pirates is because it was a strategy game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for quite some time, it was not a strategy game anymore. It was just about coining the fleet of the month. That was the I win button. And with that fleet, you could do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever didn't coin the fleet could not do everything, was actually struggling because everything was overpowered, right? And, the power creep was just out of control. What I like about the last few months is like all that healthy, fun debate about Centurions versus Punishers, and do I build Citadels, don't I? I mean, I think the whole strategy is back because the power creep has slowed down big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that again with this upgrade. I mean, I still think the whole OP8 came out too soon, but with all the choices we have now, with like, do I upgrade all my warehouses, don't I? Do I make my turrets like defensive, offensive? It's do I put an anti-launch pad turret near my sub-spotter, but then I'm open to chaining from UAV? Do I want that? It's a lot of choices now, and it's all strategic choices. Nothing like a simple I win button. I like that personally.
Yeah, I mean, it was very deflating as a player. Even if you'd committed 4 years to the game, that a player could come in, win the hull from the most recentest raid, coin the fleet, and level you.
Yeah,
regardless of your experience or the time you'd served. Whereas now, I kind of, for the first time in 5 years of playing BP, I kind of feel like I'm being rewarded for those 5 years. Like I kind of feel that there's now I kind of feel that now that being a higher level and spending all that time doing this and doing that and investing time there, I generally feel like it's put me at a better position. Whereas before it was completely irrelevant because it was just he who coined wins. Like you said, Ren, it was just
yeah.
It was
and I think that's a welcome change. I mean, even though I'm being a bit overwhelmed by content, I still think it's good because the strategic elements back in the game.
Definitely. Kicks are focused on the balance, and they've done a lot of great work. Some of it even unnoticed, and I feel that the game is very much more about strategy these days, more about thought, more about using your brain and working out skills and which fleets to use here and what specials you need to use there. Whereas before it was just a coiner's game. So yeah, completely
What
agree.
I was gonna say was, it's not the case now that you can just like take a base and copy the picture and put that on. You have to start thinking more about what turrets have I got, what is my aim here. Well, I suppose everyone's aim is to kill the fleet, but people are gonna have to start thinking a bit more, and it'll go back to kind of the strategy game that it was when you originally started playing Ren. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, I think it's good to see new content. It's good to have all these new things to research, interesting things, and I think it's good.
Exactly. Right. I mean, we were discussing on our page today about cannons for the Punishers, right? And it's amazing to see that now an old cannon like the Arbalest or the Earth Shaker, they are still good, and some people are using them to do uranium bases, and as good as the PAC or the D110, there's been no power creep pretty much in the weapon, right? You can choose any of them, and they all kind of work.
And it was great to see the Earthshaker cannon in Tier 3 on the last content drop.
Yeah, because that's when it was first released, everybody ignored it because nobody was building cannon fleets at that time. So it came in a vacuum, Right? Now there's a use for it. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
No, of course. So this is Ren's great segment that we started last week, Ren's Bass Clinic. I'm thinking maybe I need to develop a little ring, like a little chime to lead you in.
Can I do sound effects?
No, nothing like that. So today, because of the anti-launchpad turret, and because a lot of people, put a lot of effort in building their bases, just in the end, and somebody comes in with a few rockets and some subs and kills all of their guard fleet, and then just waltz in without taking much damage to the main fleet. I thought I'd talk about defending against subs in your base, right?
Good stuff.
Why, what, Lucy? Why the face?
Oh, my base has been hit. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
While I'm on here, I just see
well,
it.
let's see if your sub-defense holds out.
Right? And by the way, some people are asking me to talk about base layouts, and I think the whole idea here is not to give people some pre-built base layouts and that people can just copy and will solve their problem for a month or two, but then that layout gets outdated. It's more to discuss principles that you can keep applying. I mean, I think we've had to defend from subs forever, and that's never going to change, because whenever some sub starts getting old, a new sub's released, and now the threat's back on again. So if you get the idea, whatever point in the game you are, whatever subs you got to fight against, it's going to work in most cases. And it's not, I don't think there's 100% sub-proof base, but you can make it hard.
Yeah, and I think you're right there. I mean, if we were just to show you a load of base designs and say, hey, this is a good base, you're just going to copy that, but not truly understand how it works. Whereas if Ren's running through individual base pieces and saying, look, here's what this does, and etc., then you're going to actually learn yourself what each part does, and perhaps not need to copy a base design and understand that setting up yourself. So it's a much, much better approach.
Exactly.
Okay, Ren, we are on you.
Okay, so back here. So I try to simplify in 4 steps. So first of all, pick a hull that has thermal detection or thermal imaging, at least 75, because I see guys trying to defend their bases against subs using rhinos, and that doesn't work at all, right? We know that. Mm-hmm. Put a decent armor and ablative armor 3 if that ship's dedicated to your base guard, so you can stand rockets. Put right weapons on that ship so you can outrange torpedoes, catagurns, and even subs with launchers. And use that, especially if you have remote target ships in your base, and you're using that same sub spotter to trigger the rhinos or whatever you may have at the back. Mm-hmm. And finally, have some turrets that hit underwater, and that's a common mistake people make, right? They put the turrets that hit underwater and think they're going to hit the subs without a ship in there to see the subs. And I've seen a lot of low-level players making that mistake, and gotta understand, you need the ship with the thermal so the turret can even fire. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and do nothing. Right?
Yeah, you want something like a gargoyle or a basilisk sat right
exactly.
in front of the spotter.
So I put some samples. Are you on the slides, Leon, or no?
Yeah, I'm highlighted on your screen. Yeah.
Okay, so poor choices, like things that some people put in there and think it's going to work, but honestly never works because the thermal range is way too short. Or they invest in sonar, and I'm going to say that as simplest possible manner. Sonar is useless, right? Sonar only works if the guys coming to hit you with a sub has the Luge or downpour missiles that reduce their cloak by a lot, and even then, right? But forget about sonar. You need a thermal imaging ship and at least 75 to make it somewhat effective. So all the choices in here are poor, or bad choices. And some of them become good choices after you retrofit, but at first they're bad choices, right? Then moving on, here are good choices.
Do you know, just but 1 sec though, do you know what, on your bad choices there, I remember the Visago's Interdictor, that was the first ever ship to have thermal. That was like my #1 sub defense, like going back 3 years ago. It's so strange now to see it on the
No,
list.
that was the Viper, Liam. The Viper was the first one in thermal.
Oh, was it the Viper? Sorry. That's the hull I'm thinking of. The Viper.
Yeah. It's on the next page. A good choice, yeah. But the Fiber didn't have thermal, but they added thermal at R5, but still only 68, so it doesn't really help.
Right. Sorry, my bad.
So it's right there. So all the ships in yellow, by the way, they are limited hulls. So they're not hulls you find easily. Not all of them are always available. I don't think any of them is actually available through a regular campaign. So you gotta keep your eyes open, and whenever they're offered, and like some of them came from Forsaken Arena, some came from raid prices. Like next month is going to be a raid hull, so I'm pretty sure, a hull raid. Pretty sure some of them will be available in there. If you don't have any good sub spotter, that's the time to pick one, at least one, right? And I put them sort of like in order. They're like in order from highest thermal to lowest thermal overall. The only two hulls that are not limited are like an R10 battle cruiser and the V2s at R10, but still they're 75. So from the whole bunch here, they are still the worst.
I mean, right? I run a Frosty. I run a Frostburn for mine. Just And
the Frostburn has been offered a whole bunch of times last year, sometimes even cheap. And it's still the best sub spotter. The only problem I would say is that it has to be a flagship. So then it limited the choices of flagships you have in your guard. If you want to have like one of those flagships that gives you a boost, buff in resistance or reload, you probably don't want to have a Frostburn in there. That's why I use a Hunter, I use a prototype Hunter, and I use an Aegis. Right, and none of them are flagships, so I still have the flagship slot free to use something to give me an offensive buff.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, subs these days are tough to stop. Certain sub fleets can really, even with a sub defense, they can still do damage to you.
Yeah, and I think my base does decently against subs. I have, like I said, I have a prototype Hunter first, but it dies fast, but it's a good spotter because it has missiles, 98 range and whatnot, so it triggers all the remote target ships behind it, but it doesn't live too long. And then I have the Aegis, and that one lives, but it has like 20k armor, so it lasts a little bit longer. And having two also, there's 3 spots in my base where the subs will be seen and the turret's going to fire, and I have 4 corrosive turrets in there. And they can damage the subs pretty fast on top of the missiles and everything else that's going to be firing at them. So, but still, I mean, the right setup can certainly get through.
What I find very disappointing is the Gamma. I find that a very disappointing stat on that. It should be higher.
Well, 80, it's kind of up there, but still, a Hunter will do better, right? And it's not a flagship.
What sub defense do you run, Lucy? What's in yours?
Hold on, let me just check. It's dead in my dock just now. I use a Frosty, do I not?
Is it a Frosty or a V2H maybe?
Oh, it's a V2. I don't know. You told me to build it. I think it's a V2H.
I think it's the only option you had, yeah.
But I'm building a... is it a Vulcan carrier?
Valkyrie.
Same thing. You all know what I mean. I'm building one of them just now. It was you that suggested that was something that I would build. I use a V2H as my sub. I've also got a Behemoth.
Is it R10, your V2H, Lucy?
It is.
It's on its way.
It is nothing. It's R0.
Okay.
So that's one of the bad ones, because at 68, most subs will find a way to pass by or just paint it temporarily and get.
My guard is totally lacking. It's terrible. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay.
That's the last thing I'll work on.
Should be the first. It should be the first.
Well, I used to tell new players to focus on guard, but in the end, you're always running against better ships to attack you. At some point, like for a few months, I didn't have a guard at all, because it's so frustrating, right? And I feel a lot of players try to focus on defense and end up giving up on the game because you don't have fun with that fleet sitting there. You have fun when you go out and you hit things like either PvE or PvP. So I don't know. Today I don't give the same advice when people ask me. I'm like, you know what? Whenever you have a chance, you put a fleet there to defend, but just focus on having fun, going out there, killing stuff, winning prizes, hitting other bases. Even if you get hit back and it's easy for them, whatever.
Yeah, I don't mind about that. I mean, I was gonna say smash there, but I don't mind getting hit. Like I really don't care about it. I think the most important thing for lower levels, I feel, is that you need to get a fleet that can do your weeklies. You need to get a fleet so you can do all that sort of stuff first. Forget your base. You know what? You click repair. You go and do something else, and you can.
You know, get a fleet to do Forsaken Mission. You're right, and get a fleet that you can hit other players around your level, so you can have some fun as well and brag a little bit about and you know, talk some crap in comms and whatnot. But
yeah, I mean,
whenever you have enough time, you know, like for instance, for some time, I was only putting a guard on my base when I had nothing else to repair. Otherwise, I would just live without a guard and forget.
You know, a lot of people do not have a guard anymore.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't even bother. I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, it's just more repair and.
You know, they said on the 29th, next Tuesday, is going to be a new release with that special slot to repair the guard fleet in half the time for like always half the time, which is going to be great. You know, but we'll see. Yeah, me too. I mean, then probably some people get back to that. But you know, getting back on topic here, just 3 things you gotta worry about when you're trying to defend against subs, like put a sub spotter. First of all, the daisy cutters. So whenever I build a sub spotter, I consider how many daisy cutters can that guy withstand. Is it going to die after 2? Is it going to die after 3? Is it going to die with just 1? You know, so, and I put the damage in there. So you see almost 35, let's say 35,000 damage. Right? So on Huggy, the good thing when you build a ship on Huggy, you can see the stats and you can see, okay, I have that much armor, but I have 80% resistance. So that means it almost doubles your armor. And if you can resist 1, 2, 3 rockets, usually, it's a good thing. I put a simple battle cruiser in there, so that's one of the non-limited ships for the lower levels who want to start protecting their bases against subs. Right? So it takes 2 days to kill that one. The Poseidons can hit across the channel, so if the channel is narrow and the subs are coming in and you're going to see them at 75 and the Poseidons are going to hit at 64. So if you have land in between you and the sub, they won't fire at you, and you can defend at some level, some measure of defense against them, right? So that's a good starter kit, I would say. What do you guys think? I mean, is that technology you guys have? Like?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great example of a good starting sub defense there, and definitely.
Yeah, and I put SFB3 and Harrier there, just in case you need that guy to be a spotter for remote target ships behind it. If you don't have remote targeting ships in your base defense, then you don't even need that missile there.
Yeah, I mean, a trick I use as well on a sub spotter. This is actually something that come to me from J-Boy. Was I use on my sub spotter, I have 1 missile on it for spotting, and then I use I forgot the name of the mortar now, pandemonium mortars to bring up the radioactive resistance to help me block suicide zombies, you know, zombie launchers, and then I put shock plates on to bring that down as well. So that's another little trick you can use on your sub spotter if you're.
Shock plates a good idea. I didn't think of it. Good one.
Yeah. Just to reduce that boom effect, you know, of the launcher subs, the zombie subs.
Which is the third enemy there, right? I put the daisy cutter. I put people beaching, so you got to make sure you're far away enough from the outside of your base that people can beach a fleet in there and hit you with missiles. And then there's the launcher subs.
And bear in mind that some people use enforcers now to beach, which is 100 range, you know.
Yeah.
which is like
103.
five land tiles.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Okay, moving on. That's more or less, not exactly, but more or less a ship I have on my base guard.
Mhm.
I'd say that's a more intermediate, advanced guard. It has a lot of radioactive and explosive resistance. So you see there the statistics from Hug on explosive, right? It has 16,000 armor, but because of the defense, it can withstand over 70,000 of explosive damage. So that means an attacker will need 3 rockets to kill that ship.
Mhm.
Now you put the new turret around, and probably they would need 6,
Mhm.
right? If it's a 50-50.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could get lucky though. You could shoot
Yeah.
down all 6, you know,
And you could get unlucky, right? Bad luck,
and not shoot down any. Yeah.
all 3 rockets will go through, but at least you have a chance.
Mhm. It's like a flip of a coin, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. One thing that I use on that ship as well is the shielded electronics tree. So if people try to pinch and get past the ship, they have less time to do so, right? Because it's going to recover faster from the pinch.
Mhm.
And again, I use this guy as a spotter, so all missiles, all maximum range, and because of the speed, I have engine in there because I use this guy with some other fleets as a spotter. When I go out, like Punishers, for instance, right? They cannot see subs, so this guy at least gives me a measure of defense or fighting chance in hell, at least.
Mhm. That's a good example, Ren. Very good. I like it.
Third one, here's an Aegis, and I chose the Aegis. I use that one in my base too, very similar to my setup. So I have 2 ships that can see subs, that's on purpose. And it's also, I use it on my Forsaken mission because of the aura, so it gives like more resistance to my ships. And it has a lot of countermeasures because it's naturally a good countermeasure hull. The reason I'm putting this one is because pretty much every player, when they complete Objective 13, every player completing Objective 13 will get an Aegis, and here's a good setup you can use.
Yeah, the Aegis is a good spotter, and also if you've got that field covering another ship as well in your guard, then it's gonna buff that as well. So it's a great example. I was actually running a Harlock Aegis in my base guard as my sub spotter, but I pulled it out. Simply because of that slightly lower thermal range was an issue for me in my design. But
I like the fact that you use 2 sub defense in your base as well, Ren. Because a lot of people me watching hits, they'll pinch something quickly so they can get by it and kill it as it's pinched, if that even makes sense.
Yeah, and I try to make so each ship has more than a function, right? So like the Aegis is a sub spotter, but it's also, like Liam said, it also covers my tank. The ship in my defense with the most armor is covered by the Aegis, so it's harder to kill it, right? And then the Hunter doesn't last too long, but is my first trigger for remote targeting. So in the back I have a Protodon and a Citadel, and the Hunter is the trigger for their remote fire. So every ship has more than a function. I'm a bit against having that, this is just my sub-spotter and does nothing else. So, which would be the case of the BC there before. That's why I said the BC is more of a beginner's tank. Sub-spotter, but it's not as multifunction as the other 2 samples here. But, plenty of people use like Gamma Behemoths or Omegas and whatnot. I mean, it's plenty of choices.
Because you're lucky enough to win one.
I think the way that base defense is going now as well, that having 2 ships in your base with thermal is kind of almost becoming a must now. I know for a lot of base designs it is, because then they have to tackle that issue twice as opposed to once.
That's what I meant when I said before. Like, it's a good idea to have 2 in your base, really.
I'm waiting until I'm waiting until my Gamma is complete, and then I shall be probably having 2 in my base. But obviously the Gamma is slightly less. But
I only have 1 shard for that guy, so I'm still far, far away from having 1.
I have none, so you've got 1 more than me.
Okay, so step 3 is just a review, pretty much like weaponize the hull properly. So if you're gonna put missiles, make sure you have the target set to true. If that's not built in the hull, you got to put the right special to set retarget to true, so the missiles can hit underwater. Otherwise, they won't. And a lot of people don't realize that rhinos do not have retarget. So you need to put guided missile system. If you don't have it, you got to put SFB3 and laser targeting. Otherwise, even if it fires at the subs, it's not going to do any damage, right? Depth chargers, there are some good choices there with shorter range. So you got to make sure your channel is really tight and your ship's really close to the wall so it hits across. The Artemis, it's a good choice, but there's a trap. Because the Artemis releases those mines, I've seen a lot of people who go into your base on the outside, wait for the mines to move by, and because they have thermal or sonar, they see the mines, and their missiles are going to fire at the mines and then can retarget to your turrets and your ships. So you got to be careful, right? That retarget won't work against you. It's just like people used to do shooting drones, right? And yeah, remember there's one type of UAV, the bomber, that hits underwater. So even though a carrier can't spot subs, it can damage subs if another ship sees them. The antipode launcher, it's a good one to spot, to trigger remote target, but then again, the launcher doesn't damage subs underwater. Just because some people have countermeasure ships with one launcher, and it's all good, just remember the launchers won't, like an enforcer doesn't damage subs, right? And turrets. You need turrets around your sub spotters that will damage subs, and I've marked some of them in green. The ones I've marked in green, they can all damage subs directly. Their fire hits underwater. I think the best one is the Basilisk or the Draconian Scattergun. It's a limited turret down there. The yellow ones, their primary damage doesn't damage the subs, but the fire or ice fields do.
You've missed
some secondary damage. Did I miss any? Because that was like out of the top of my head.
The standard, the frostbite hits subs underwater. It's not. Is it not? It's not highlighted, is it, or is it not there?
What does the yellow mean, and what does the green mean? The green's underwater, and yellow's.
So the green ones, they have a statistic that says submerged damage, right? So their primary damage will hit the subs in full. Underwater. The yellow ones, they do fire fields.
Like secondary effects.
The problem
the fire field burn, the fire burning on the water will damage the subs as they pass by the fire field. Even though their primary damage doesn't damage the subs, but the remaining field will.
Like I used to have these built, and then I found that they were. I mean, it just depends, kind of what you get hit most with. Like for me, subs. No one ever subs me again. Yes, I know my base is rubbish, but so I got rid of I have none in yellow. Actually, is that the? No, actually,
yes,
I have that one.
You do. You have.
I have one.
You have Apox and you have some pyroclastic turrets.
I didn't. I got rid of them. I changed everything to be more because rhinos are the most common thing that hits me. So I built to accommodate that. Well, currently I'm trying to. So these are turrets, and I feel like these are turrets for fleets that you got to take into consideration as well. Like basers that are going to hit you. If you have, fair enough, you want to counter for subs, but if you use some of these turrets here, backline, back your base. That's what I mean. Like they're not going to really do anything against fleets that people have built currently, like Punishers, etc. Because Punishers have such nothing really damages them. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a horrible yip, Liam. That was like a sigh, like yip, shut up, Lucy.
No, it wasn't.
I'm just meaning for me, I wouldn't build those ones in yellow, apart from the Apox. But that's just me because I think you have to remember to accommodate what you most get hit with. And if you don't have something in your guard, like 2 ships like you do for your sub-defense, if you don't have that in your guard, then build all these turrets. But if you've got plenty of sub-defense, you know that subs aren't going to get you, then focus mainly on your main basers that are going to be hitting your base.
Yeah, good point. Good point. One last comment that I didn't write, but I wanted to say is like if people are hitting you with Cobra scatterguns, the gargoyles are useless because they are outranged by the scatterguns. So even if you can detect the subs, they won't fire because they're going to be out of range. So you know that's why again I think the Basilisk is the best choice by far. To damage the subs, and also trust in your base guard, like with missiles that can hit underwater. These are the best weapons against subs.
The frostbite was the only one I noticed, Ren, because that is.
Which one's the frostbite?
It's the one that was given away in the raid. Was it a hostile takeover?
Oh, you know what? I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I had the cold snap.
Yeah, it's the one that it's basically the junior version of the cold snap.
Yeah, I think I didn't redeem it because I didn't need it.
Same range as the Basilisk, longer reload, but more damage, and it does hit underwater. From my memory of it, it does hit underwater.
Okay, cool. Good to know. So I didn't have. That's a screenshot from my base, so probably I didn't have it. I didn't consider it, but good point. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So, wow. So we've had a lot of information this week in terms of the update. We've had a great segment there from Ren. That was a really good topic this week, Ren.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Full of information.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it gives some ideas to players that need it and players that are still a bit unfamiliar with certain areas of base defense. So great segment there, Ren. Was there anything else we wanted to add before we look to end the stream? The show.
Well, I think we're good. Just missing Gadget today.
I just wanted to say that because a lot of people were asking for him in comms at the start. He's just not on tonight. I don't think he was feeling too good, so he couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately. But I know he's in chat because I just seen him comment in chat there, and I sneakily tried to do it. So he is in chat and he is watching. So hi, Dave. I mean, in Sector.
Hi, Gadget, and you get your ass back on the show, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
We miss you. Kidding.
No, but it's
Gadget banners.
No, that's too far.
No, not.
No, but it's a big week in the game, guys, and I know that there's a massive amount of content. Some may feel content overload. I know that's the phrase I've seen thrown around, but really just sit back, take a breath, and just try and absorb it in. I mean, I'm still absorbing it in, and perhaps I'll have some more formulated opinions on it over the coming shows, but yeah, don't let yourself get too worked up about it. It's a lot of information to take in. Just do it slowly. No one's expecting you to build everything in a day. It's a lot of stuff there. It's probably half a year to a year's worth of upgrades there if you're not going in. So, just take it slowly and don't let the game get you too stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna upload the SlideShore page, by the way, so everyone, can download those builds and everything from there.
Yeah, that's great, Ren. So Ren will have the slides up, and for anyone that wants to question us about maybe some of the stuff talked about in the show, or even some of the stuff that we haven't covered in the show, come into our Facebook page and have a chat with us there, and we will be on hand to answer your questions in the best way we can. And the link to the Facebook page will be put in the description of this video. So thanks, guys, for tuning into episode 4. I mean, it seems like we've started the show. We've had nothing but huge amounts of content. I don't even think we've had a quiet week yet.
No.
Yeah,
not.
It's just been mad. This Saturday, guys, I'm actually out of town.
We both are.
I've got a big drive down to the opposite side of the country, and then on the Friday, and then a big drive back up on the Saturday. And I'm really not sure what time I'll make it up. I may make it back up like 10 minutes before showtime, and I'll be absolutely shattered because it's like an 8-hour drive. So there may not be an open mic this Saturday, guys.
Are Ren and Dave not hosting at all?
Well, I'm not sure anyone's available to do so, but I'll tell you what we could do if everyone still wants an open mic is we could do it on Sunday.
Yeah.
But it's Easter Sunday. It's a religious day. I don't want to offend anyone, but I tell you what, let us know on the page if you want us to do an open mic. Still, we'll go for it on the Sunday instead. If that's not going to offend.
Put a poll. Maybe you put a poll up on the page, and people can say yes, no, or bacon.
Yeah, yes, no, or bacon, or Lucy. But okay,
I wasn't
guys.
listening to you. Sorry.
Well, listen, guys, thank you all for tuning in. We've had a great audience tonight, and thanks all again for the continued support of the show. And we'll see you, hopefully, maybe on Sunday. If not, we'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Night, everyone.
Thanks for coming out.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks for coming out.